All right, welcome to another episode of This is Finding the Seams. You may be a little bit confused because I'm Ric Bucher. That is Brendan Haywood. And joining us as a special pre-All-Star edition is my co-host from Full Court Passport, Bostjan Nachbar. Before we get started, guys, I got to pay attention to our sponsor, New Air Club. Door-to-door private jet service that will take care of your every need at an unbeatable price. What sets New Air apart is that it does more than arrange your private jet and crew. They will handle ground transportation, hotel, catering requests, security, you name it. And because they bundle their service, you can be sure the trip will cost exponentially less. Not everyone can afford private jet travel, but for those who can, make sure you're getting as much luxury for every dollar as you deserve. Check out their website at newairclub.com to see exactly how luxurious travel can be. All right, so this is what I'm most interested about. When we all came on camera and I said, do you guys know each other? And you immediately both went, oh yeah, we know each other. And so I don't know if there's is there some history there that I don't know about, or what
No,
what is it?
it's just there's in the NBA there's knowing a guy like, hey, like we text, we talk,
Yep.
we have mutual friends, and then there's knowing a guy like NBA brotherhood. Like if I were to see him on the street, I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. You doing good? He'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, and then we keep it moving because we
Gotcha.
don't really know each other. We played against each other. We recognize each other. We recognize the brotherhood. But
Gotcha.
he ain't gonna be calling when it's my birthday, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, from now on, I might. You never
Yeah.
know. So we'll
There
see.
you go.
November 27th. Send me something nice.
All right. All right.
I give you my Venmo, my Cash App, PayPal, all that. I got it all.
I got you. July 3rd. So I'll be before that. So keep in mind, July 3rd, man.
Beautiful. What a big happy family we are. March 16th. Mine's just around the corner. So
Ham.
you guys feel
Hey,
free. It's
hey, Rick, you definitely not getting nothing from me because my wife and my son's birthday are both on March 15th. So I got to spend everything the day before. So yeah, and this is his 16th birthday party coming up.
man. That's
I
like
might
that's
have
like having a birthday
I
after
might
Christmas.
have to buy a car. I might have to buy a car.
Whew. Okay.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
So no,
Good luck.
no money left over in the budget for rebuke.
All
Slick
right.
Rick,
Well,
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
if you just maybe a card, that something,
Okay.
gift certificate to Chipotle or something.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And listen, let's get to it because this is the pre All-Star show, and I wanted to get into and have both of you on at the same time, largely because we've got the new format where it's USA Stars is one team, USA Stripes is another team, and Team World is yet another one. And so I'm just wondering, big picture, Boki, I'll start with you. Like, what do you think of this new format?
I think it's a worthy try to fix things. To be quite honest, I think what everybody's talking about, what everybody's seeking is guys to compete, right? And I think it's a deep topic or how we got here and why it is the way it is and all that. But I think at this point it probably makes sense. I think that having American players compete against the world, I think it's an interesting attempt, especially
You
knowing
don't
what
sound.
hockey
It
did.
doesn't sound like you think it's going to work. At least
I need to see
produce
it. I
the
need to see
desired
it.
result.
I need to see it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the same guys that have, or most of the guys that basically, let us down in recent years regarding the, competing in the All Star. So, but I wanted to say that hockey tried it, right? Hockey did like a Four Nations Cup or something like this a year ago, and that was a huge success. So let's see. I'm willing to give it a try.
B.
For me, it comes down to this. Which of the young stars is going to grab the mantle that guys like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan had before that? And right now, it sounds like Wemby. Wemby said, yo, I want to play hard. So if you get some of the guys playing hard and they're embarrassing the other guys, then it's one of those things where I got to meet your level or I look like I'm running from the smoke. And so I'm going to be interested. I saw Wemby, I saw Jamal Murray. These guys talk about competing at a little bit higher level than what the All Star game has been the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I want to see if they're able to do that. The only way to fix the All-Star game is for the players to bring the intensity that we grew up watching. And we know the All-Star game isn't the same as the NBA Finals, but All-Star games in the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s are different than the energy that the All-Star games have brought now. So
sure.
so I love the fact that Wemby, who was going to be the face of the league soon, stepped up and said, "Nah, this ain't good enough."
Yeah.
And when the faces of the league, they always set the temperature for what the All-Star game is going to be. I don't know if we got time. Quick story. Michael, I wasn't there, obviously. I was never an All-Star. But Michael Jordan told me one year, he walked in there and he said, "Hey, man, everybody on the All-Star team is putting up $100,000. We're betting the guys on the other All-Star team." Now, to some of these new guys, $100,000 is pocket change. But in the 90s, that was a lot of money. Everybody had to put up your own money. We're going to, hey, winner takes all. And we're going to come out there and we're going to compete to a certain level. And that was Mike setting the standard. I think Wemby has the opportunity to set the same type standard. It doesn't have to be that gambling, but the standard was still set by one of the guys that was deemed the best players in the league at that time.
So with that in mind, do you guys know the rosters? You know the team setups?
Yeah,
I
I mean, more or less. Yeah.
Who are you betting on? Like, who do you like? Let's say it's a competitive game, or a competitive round robin. Which team do you like? Because this isn't traditional like East West. It's a mix.
I mean, I kind of have to say the world, just because otherwise I'll get a lot of crap from people. but in all honesty, if I just look at the names and I would say, hey, which team, if that would be, let's say if those would be realistic rosters, right? Realistic meaning if there would be a basketball season and these teams would play.
And everybody's going to play to their level.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say team what is Stripes, with the old heads, or how they call them. I still
really. So you would go with like
yeah.
KD and
I would,
and LeBron and Kawhi and.
I mean, there's a little bit of a asterisk there. He started with Steph Curry being out. I mean, but team with Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Durant, Fox. I mean, even LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard's been playing incredibly lately. So, yeah, I would pick that team, to be honest.
Interesting. B, which team would you go with?
I need you to give me the teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I would go. I think the final is going to be Stars versus Team World, because I'm not buying that the old heads are going to go all out to win this thing. And so I think the young guys coming in, especially anybody that's got like first time All-Stars, and if Wemby's setting the standard, like I think those guys are going to gravitate toward that. I think it's going to mean something more to the young guys. And so Team USA Stars is Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey. And what I like is you got Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. I like when you have combos from their teams that are playing, that familiarity, and then guys that can kind of play off of that. That's what I like that team. Team USA Stripes with Jalen, the two Jalens, and KD and Brandon. There's no combination there. There's no two guys from the same team. And then I'm looking at Team World, and like Avdia, Doncic, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Alperen Sengun, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, Victor Wembanyama. Again, you got Jokic and Murray playing together as a combo. Like you got something you can work off of that again, if we're talking about they're going to play it like an actual game, I like that you already have an inherent nucleus to both of those teams.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, if you're picking, all these guys are great. Whoever plays hard is going to win.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to. Whoever. And so right now, I mean, the only person that said they're going to play, that pretty much said they want to see the game back at a competitive level is Wemby. So I got to go with Team World. I got to go with the guy that said he's going to raise his level.
So do you think that there are any bragging rights here, Boki, for the world players to show that, I mean, they've gotten a lot of recognition. They're dominating MVP and all that. They've won championships, but I wonder if there's something like mano a mano in this game, especially getting called out by KD, Jokic and Doncic getting called out for, hey, why are you guys looking at us? Like,
Yeah,
I just wonder.
I think that was great, by the way, that Katie did that. I mean, great in the sense that hopefully there's gonna give a little bit of a more of an energy or motivation to those guys in the team world. I mean, I know Luke has been hurt recently, so I assume he's not gonna be playing a lot or playing full speed, but hopefully that also kind of woke up everybody else apart from Victor Wembanyama to like really show the world basically what international basketball is. I think it's a great stage to do that. Now, there's some sub stories to that as well, like Victor Team France playing against KD and Steph. Okay, Steph might not be playing, and LeBron Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Some connection, right? They lost
Carryover.
there. He might come back at them for this. I mean, I hope these are the stories in the minds of the players and also something that fans and media could pick up on, because that's really what we have right now. We have to create these stories, these narratives, in order to motivate players and to have fans buy into those games that had recently been extremely disappointing.
I think that's fair. Brendan, is there a better format? I mean, is there a way you'd prefer to see it, or because I kind of like this? I like this idea. If there's anything that's going to create kind of a grudge match or a motivation, to me, this is about as good as it gets. I think East versus West is played. I don't think guys really care representing their conference. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I just don't get a sense that or divisions or any of that is still a factor in the minds of players today.
I think you're talking about East versus West is played. I don't even think East versus West is played. I don't. It comes down to pride. It comes down to who wants to go out there and still compete, who still cares about putting on a good show.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. East versus West wasn't played throughout the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. It was just like, hey, when we get out here, we obviously know nobody's going to foul anybody hard. The second thing is, if this game is close in the fourth quarter, we're playing to win. Also, in certain one-on-one matchups, hey, if I call you out, come guard me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's been missing. And whatever format gets that back into the All-Star game, I'm going to be here for. But they can pick names out of a hat. They can have this YouTuber doing this at halftime.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter if you cannot motivate the majority of these guys to come with energy. You can't fake intensity. That's why fans are turning it off. You can either you're bringing intensity or you're not. Whatever brings intensity to the game, I'm here for.
Why do you think that the intensity has fallen off? Why do you think that the NBA All-Star Game has become what it's become, which is guys are not playing for pride, or not playing to prove something?
I mean, if you're asking me, and I was listening to your question really carefully, I was thinking in my mind, like, what would be the reason? And I'll give you the worst possible answer. I don't know. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Like, I came, and we all three of us are maybe from we're from like the previous generation. And I came to a hotel here last night. I turned on TV. And by coincidence, it was either 2000 or 2001 All-Star Game was on TV. And I didn't have a chance to watch the whole thing. I wouldn't watch the whole thing. But I watched it for like maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes. And it was Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston and Vlade Divac was there. And Mitch Richmond was there. I don't know which year was it. But I was watching exactly what Brandon was saying, the one-on-one matchups, right? And you could see guys still kind of three-quarter jogging up and down the court. But when it came down to these one-on-one situations, guys were going at it, and guys were fouling each other under control, but fouling each other. Like, I'll put you on the line. You're not going to scoring over me. I don't know how we went from that to recently just being an up and down, not even like touching. Now, I will say one thing. I wonder if a part of that is also the recent soft tissue injuries we've seen, and if the guys have that in the back of their mind, saying, "Hey, I'm not even trying because I'm not trying to get hurt." Just because I don't know if that's something that is in the mind of players just because of what's been happening recently. If they're putting their pedal off the, pedal off the speed, so to say, because of that. I don't know, but I don't have a clear answer on why we went from that to what we have right now.
I said it kind of to a certain degree earlier in the show. I said it last year around the same time. I even caught some flack for saying it, Slick Rick. I said the intensity started waning when Kobe Bryant retired, because Kobe Bryant, there was a mantle that was passed from Michael Jordan. Obviously, players before Mike, but from when I'm old enough to watch, Michael Jordan set a standard. He took that standard and he passed it, and Kobe set the standard. And so you would see in these games, like, the best players were playing hard to a certain degree. And I caught flack. Some people caught flack for me saying that last year. I remember Tony Kornheiser said I shouldn't really be commenting because I was never an all-star. Found that interesting because he does a sports show and he's never played sports. But that's not what we're here for. The thing is simply this. You can see it when the best players walk in there and say, "Yo, we playing hard." That's what it is. They're the leaders of the league. Like, that's what it's going to be. So if Michael Jordan says everybody's putting up $100,000, we gonna compete. Everybody gonna compete.
Right.
Now, if your best player say, "Nah, I don't care," then the other guys that are first, second, third year all stars, they gonna say they don't care too. So that's what I'm saying. I'm interested to see the Wembys, the Ant-Mans, all the Cade Cunninghams, all the new blood. I'm interested to see if they're going to pick up the intensity, because that's the way the All-Star gets to where it needs to. The young stars got to say, "Nah, what y'all been doing for the last 5 years, old school, it ain't kicking it."
You know what? Who brought it along a little bit? I don't know that he actually picked up the Kobe mantle, but I do know that he brought a certain energy that forced guys to play harder, and that was Russell Westbrook. When Russell Westbrook was aiming to win All-Star MVP, when that was a goal of his, he was coming hard. And you saw exactly what you referenced, Brendan, in terms of, like, guys didn't want to be embarrassed. They still weren't playing at the same level, and they were almost kind of, smirking at how hard Russ was playing. But they had to come along at least a little bit. It did make a little bit of a difference. So I think you're right on that front.
I think it definitely has to be individual motivation, whatever it is, whether it's young players trying to prove something to the older guys, whether it's somebody chasing the All-Star MVP. I mean, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but NBA recently tried also that winning team gets certain money for their charities or something like this, right?
Yeah.
That didn't really work, right? So it's really comes down to, like, individual motivation about performing, period. Right?
It's hard to motivate guys making $50 million with money. They got a lot of, what I'm saying? When you got $50 million, it's kind of hard to be like, "Hey, man, we're going to give you an extra $500,000 for the All-Star game." Guys are like, "That's nice."
And you probably just brokered a couple deals over All-Star weekend that are worth 5 times that as well, right? You're walking into the game and you already added to your bank. So if you guys were at All-Star weekend, what is the event or party, whatever it might be, the thing that if you were there for the weekend, this is the thing that you'd have to go to? It's the must attend event for you on the weekend.
That's a good question, because I'm older guy now. I'm not chasing crazy parties. Not that I ever was, but
did you ever go to any of the parties on an All-Star weekend?
I've been to, like, the NBPA events, NBPA parties. And I go there just because of what I do now, and I kind of, I think it make sense to be around like-minded people in terms of, like, business and players, helping players and all that. But I never been, while I was playing, I don't think I ever went to an actual All-Star. Maybe I've been to an All-Star, but not like an All-Star party or things like that. So for me, that's never been a huge thing. It's more nowadays. I'm more about business and meeting people in that sphere than actually partying. But Brendan probably has more experience when it comes to that. I don't know. I never been to one of those crazy parties. Yeah, come on, Brendan. No, I'm joking.
No, you're not. Well, you're telling the truth. You actually sound a lot more mature than me. I didn't go every year, but there were about 3 or 4 times I went to the All-Star games for the parties. I went to kick it.
Yeah.
This is young single Brendan Haywood. I was in the All Star streets, and the NBA Players Association party back then. I don't know what it is now. If they even
Yep.
still have it, but the NBA Players Association party back then was the hottest ticket. All of the All Stars, for the most part, were going to show up. The NBA always had like a big time act. I remember one year they had like Mary J. Blige, and like they would always have a big time act performing live too.
Yep.
So it was all of the All Stars. Everybody was trying to get their hottest ticket. Great live performance, and there was a nice element there. That's
Yes,
all.
there was.
It was
Yes,
a
there
nice.
was.
It was a nice element. He's such a professional. He was like, I was just going over there to
Right, right, right.
to make connections. I was like, nah, I was going to kick it.
It was
hard. Yeah.
You're
Rick,
right.
Rick, you give us.
The players party was a thing that I always made a point of getting into because of the acts. And you could also count that it was going to start like about 3 hours late, whatever it was. Like I'll never forget when Snoop was still Snoop, when he was in his prime. Like I don't know how or why I was there, but I saw him fall out of his limo with like a cloud of smoke following him. And then he just like staggered into the place and then put on a show. And the place was just jammed and rocking. Whatever the venue was, it would be shaking at times because it was packed and people were way into it. So I don't know if we ever get back to that, particularly in a place like LA. I mean, that's the other part is and you guys have both attended them, so like whenever an all-star event is in downtown and you can walk to everything, it has a different energy than a place like LA where it's like if you don't have a car, you can't get to half of the events that are happening, and generally with the traffic, you gotta pick your spots. Like you can't.
Yeah, but I was just in LA now, and I have to say that at least the area around Staples Center and Convention Center, like there was a lot happening. I have to be honest. I know the All Star is in the other arena, in the Clippers arena. They had it was like a Foot Locker, what do they call it, Foot Locker takeover, and it was at the Convention Center was the whole NBA crossover, and then there were some basketball courts set up for different sponsors. I went over to the NBA crossover. I wasn't impressed. I mean, first of all, that conference center is huge. They probably had like 10 basketball courts inside with different partners, different sponsors.
Yeah.
What I was surprised about was that there was a lot of people there, but just in one spot because there was like a K-pop concert there, and it was all youth kids listening to that concert while the basketball courts were empty.
Wow.
Oh yeah. K-pop. Oh man, my daughter loves them. That song Golden. Yeah. Oh man, them kids at Golden, they song, boy.
Well,
yeah. So the event. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. It just had to be a certain. At least the evening that I was there, it had to be a certain age and like a certain thing to enjoy that. Otherwise, it was kind of odd. But the setup was nice. I mean, it was huge. I was surprised.
This is where I feel like the NBA has created part of the issue with the lack of focus or intensity when it comes to the game and to basketball, is that its attempts to reach all these different audiences has caused it to make basketball and the game less of a focus. It's like, how do we draw in more eyeballs into what we're doing? And it becomes more of the social aspect. I mean, they've invited all these influencers in for the game to cover the game.
But that's smart.
I'm not saying it's not. From a business standpoint, it is, but it lessens the focus or the meaningfulness of the basketball. Does it not? Because it becomes about everything around the game. And look, they know this. I know Adam Silver knows this because when he was still just an assistant commissioner, I was in the NBA offices, and he said, nobody watches our games and it doesn't matter. Like the promotion of the NBA overseas and to people who will never attend a game and aren't necessarily hardcore basketball fans, that's what they saw as their revenue streams. People who just want to say, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan, or I want to wear Brendan Haywood's jersey, whichever one he hasn't sold the number to yet. And I'm from Slovenia, and Bostjan Nachbar is my favorite player. Even though I'll never attend a game, I may never see anything more than highlights. Like, that's how they're like, we can. That's a huge audience. That's an audience way bigger than the people that are going to buy a ticket and go to a game or even buy league pass or whatever. And so that's been their focus. But I think in some ways, while it makes great business sense and it's made them a ton of money, it undermines the meaning and the significance of the game and what's going on in it. And I can't help it, that has to affect the players in some way, no?
I would, yeah, possibly, but I think you're totally on point. It's about reaching the new audience, bigger audience, not necessarily basketball first audience. It's just about going wider, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and blame NBA for doing that, meaning that, hey, they're growing their business. I think that's their first motivation behind it, and you can't, you know what I mean? So they they recognize, like you said, like 200 influencers and all that. And Brandon said, yeah, that's smart. And I think it depends what you're trying to do. And if NBA is trying to gain bigger audience, then definitely that's smart. And and Rick, we talk about this a lot, comparing that to Europe. Like, I wish European basketball did some of that. Like, I wish we had more of that influencer,
Just
so you
sell
can reach
some merchandise, would you?
Yes, so exactly. So you can sell it to the wider audience. Now we can say, hey, we can talk about how much is enough, right? At what point you're trying to refocus back on basketball, but again, NBA business wise is killing it. So we can't look down on that too much. Like, they're doing a great job, and I just hope that the game gets preserved in the meantime. And most importantly, speaking about All-Star, that the competition is back, right? So if that happens, then everything else is fine, and we're good with all the rest.
I have no problem with them bringing in the influencers because they're trying to get the younger generation to care. If you want to get the younger generation to care, you have to bring people there that they care about. Like, hey, if you got kids between the ages of 15 to 25, they don't watch TV no more. They watch the influencers on you. They watch YouTube. They're watching things on their phone. So these influencers, it's a different ball game now. So you need these guys. Just look how music is brought up now. Like, if you want your album when it comes out to be, really, really popular, you need Kai Cenat, certain influencers to start talking about it on their streams. And so these streams, these views, all that stuff matters. So I have no problem with the NBA trying to capture the young viewers in that fashion.
Yeah.
Look, I'll give you one example, just because it's close to close to me, in the sense that, like, my and Rick, my girls play basketball, and just like everybody else, not everybody, but a lot of young fans right now, like, hey, Cooper Flag is the next superstar, right? They would know every big game that Cooper plays, every or just highlight stats from it. They probably know it all. If you ask me how many games of Cooper Flag have they seen this season, I will tell you my answer: 0.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, right? That's where we're going. That's the direction we're going. So that's the changing times, and I think it's also probably smart for us old heads to adapt to that a little bit more. That's the new generation. That's how the game is being watched.
100%. Which is why it's good that we all have kids who are keeping us apprised of kind of what the trends are. And I follow their lead. Like, I ask them questions about stuff, and my conversations with them inform how I look at the NBA and basketball now, because you're right. Like, that's the new audience. All right, Boki, I know we got to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Bostjan and I will be doing a post All-Star game wrap up, and Brendan will probably be asleep, so we don't know if we're going to get him or not. I'm going to try to convince him to take some no-dos or do something to stay up, but we shall see. But in the meantime, Bostjan, thank you so much for making the effort to join us here. It was great to connect you guys, and so now we've got like the birthday circle. We'll be celebrating.
There we go. Take care, guys.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
All right, that was Boston. So, do you remember anything from playing against him?
I just remember he could shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember he could shoot. He could shoot it. Yeah.
yeah. All right, so we had to move things around a little bit because Brendan had an emergency,
Yeah.
and so I brought up something for me because I think fans in general don't realize that NBA players still have real life issues, like still
I,
like
I
life
don't
and
think
truth.
I don't think I don't think you realize that people have real life issues.
What do you mean?
Hey, listen, I send you a video, I send you a text. Hey, man, I might not be able to on Thursday. I said might not be able to do the show like we normally do.
Yeah.
I just had a sewage issue in my house.
Yes.
Upon sending you the video, you like, yo, you still gonna be able to make it on time? No, no, this ain't the water heater. This is sewage, my guy. This is cold red timeout. I don't give a damn about this podcast. I gotta make sure my house ain't smelling like you know what within the next 30 minutes. I looked at the screen like, was that his reply? I was like, I got a sewage leak in my house, and you were like, yo, you still gonna make the show? Hell no, I ain't gonna make the damn show. Are you crazy? I
Oh.
wanted to make sure to tell you that to your face.
that is that is more than fair. Yeah, look, somehow the video didn't look that serious to me, and I couldn't smell it. So
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem.
yeah, I mean, it looked like you had a little bit of water, and it wasn't like carpet or whatever. It was concrete. So I'm thinking, okay, he's got to get that
Hey,
fixed. But
hey, Rick, when you have that water seeping into your house,
yeah,
first and foremost, it's sewage. And the second thing is you have to get that stopped,
yeah,
or else it will keep rising. So
okay,
yeah, it was a little. We caught it early, so we were
okay.
able to take care of it. But it was cold red. This wasn't a come back 2 hour situation and check on it type deal. Like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot the pod and I'll come back later on at night. Nah, I need a plumber here ASAP, Rocky.
Ah, I've got no excuse for it. Just other than
I
you're
realized, Rick,
right,
that
man. I was focused on.
I realized as a friend that you don't really care about me that
No,
much
that's not. That's
at
not.
that moment.
That's not true. That's not true at all. That is not true
I,
at
mean,
all.
I looked at,
So
I was
you
like
got.
Rick, Rick, we got a sewage leak. Rick was like, I give him another extra 10 minutes. He probably should still make the show, right? No, no, I ain't gonna be here. What
That was
Magic
kind
Johnson say? I'm not gonna be here.
of. that was going through my mind. I was like, okay, so how much time does he need before we can get this done? Anyway, thank you for rescheduling. So we got it solved. We got the problem resolved.
We got the problem solved. We got the plumber in. Got the cleanup crew in. They came in, cleaned up everything,
Sweet.
made sure nothing seeped out of that room and got to any carpeted areas. And
Nice.
so yeah. So I had to get the plumber, the cleanup crew, everything because, like I said, with sewage, you got to have everything clean
Oh yeah,
to the
you got to jump on that.
T, to the T. Yeah.
100%. And do you get any like special treatment? Do they know who you are? Like,
No, I'm old. I'm old. I'm old now, man. Like I call up there and they're just like, yeah. Do you want to sign up for our VIP rewards program? We can send
okay,
somebody out there tonight. If not, they'll be out there tomorrow. I was like, how much is
okay.
the VIP rewards program? I need somebody there. Matter of fact, the guy that they sent, great guy's name was Will. He didn't even realize that I played basketball until he went downstairs in the basement and he started seeing like the
Yeah.
trophies and the
Yep.
jersey.
Yep.
He walked in, was talking to me fine. He's like, I didn't make the connection that you were Brendan Haywood. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me on the wall. But you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
When you called, they didn't say, "Is this the Brendan Haywood?" They didn't say.
They didn't say. He didn't. Like I said, he was in the house. We were working through the problem. He didn't realize it until halfway through while he was working. He looked at one of the pictures and was like, and then looked back at me. He's like, "Oh, I just made the connection. You're that Brendan Haywood." Like, yeah, that is me.
So to that end, have you ever had like what's the biggest real life issue that you had on a game day when you were playing?
I can't say I had a big real life issue on a game day, but I did have an issue that became important to me. Like, so I didn't have like a flood at my house on game day, But there was one game day where my phone was about to die, and I thought I plugged it in, and I didn't. And NBA players, we take naps.
Yeah.
So my phone died and my alarm didn't go off.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So like, just so you know, I'm in DC. Game starts at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm on the court by 5:30.
Right.
I didn't wake up until 5:30, and we talking DC traffic.
Oh yes.
Now I
Brother,
didn't
I've
live
been
that,
in it.
so I didn't live that far. So like, I'm in a panic. Am I going to be late to the game? But I will say this. Now, your boy is resourceful. This is how I got past that situation. Our equipment manager, Rob Seller, I told him the situation. I said, don't tell anybody that I'm late because they will find you. I said, meet me in the parking lot with all my gear. Because to walk into the locker room, you have to walk past the coach's locker room. So if I walk past the coach's locker room, my street clothes at 6:15, they're
Yep.
going to know I'm late.
Yep.
So Rob Seller, being the great guy he is, he brings my shoes, jersey, headband, everything to the parking lot. As soon as he sees me, he runs over there, gives me my gear. I'm getting dressed in my car. Security's walking by looking at me crazy. I get dressed in the car, headband. I'm in the car, headband on. And I put my shoes on, and I walk past the coach's office. Like the coach is about to come into the locker room to give us the pregame talk.
Yeah.
So it's close to like 6:30. I'm walking in because even though I live 10 minutes from the arena, it took me 45 minutes to get there. So like I'm walking in like I've been there the whole time. And they're like, well, I think we didn't see you on the court. I was like, yeah, I was on the practice court. Oh, okay. But I look like I've been there all day. So they never knew that I was late.
Wow.
But that was my real life situation. Like I had a power outage at the house, whatever, and I didn't get the phone charged all the way, and my alarm didn't go off. I was almost late to an NBA game, like full on late.
Right. Not late for warm up or the usual, all of that. Like
not late for shoot around. Like late. Like luckily, I live where I live. If I lived farther out, I wouldn't have made it. You wake up at 5:30 in DC, and you live in you live in a certain part of Virginia. 5:30 traffic time, you won't make it. You'll get there. You get there mid-second quarter.
I'm with you. I used to. I sometimes would take the train in because I lived in Old Town Alexandria.
Yeah.
And the stop was right there. Okay, so how did you play in that game?
I actually played well. I mean, I don't think I like. It
Hey,
wasn't
you
like
were
I had,
rested.
yeah, it wasn't like I had like 50 or nothing like that. But it wasn't like I came out there and I was nervous or anything. I went through layup lines, stretched a little bit, and I was good.
Very nice. Oh, by the way, I figured out what you can get me for my birthday.
And what is that?
You can pre-order my new book.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Just announced that this week. Coachable. How great performers reach their highest potential. Your boy Mike actually inspired it in part because he said the difference maker for him was being coachable. And to that end, and I don't want to get too far astray because there's a couple of things I want to get to here. Is did you at that time? I mean, obviously Mike was coming back, and that was a different circumstance. Did you still see a Michael Jordan that was open to being coached or hearing how he needed to play for the better good of the entire team?
As far as the better good of the entire team, probably not because we were running the triangle because that's what he knew. But
Yeah.
as far as being coachable from a scouting report standpoint, yeah, Mike. Like if Doug was like, "Hey, I need you." If Doug was like, "Mike, I need you to guard like this," then he would guard the play like that.
Yeah.
I think that was a good Doug Collins impression. That's just how
That
Doug
was
sounds.
pretty good.
If anybody that knows Doug Collins, so that's how Doug. Brendan, I need you to block every shot at the rim, big fella. That's how Doug Collins sounds. If you don't know,
That is a very good one. Doug Collins, one of a kind, boy. Whew,
oh man, Doug was like high energy. He was super high strong.
Wound very tight all the time. All right, so
Hey, did I
one.
ever? Hey, did I ever tell you about the time? Did I ever tell you about the time I walked into Doug Collins' office and we were watching film,
No.
and after the film session, it was a great film session. I'm just trying to chop it up with him, and just basically bond with my coach. I made the mistake of asking him, had he ever played basketball before?
Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
listen, I had no clue that Doug Collins, so. I'm gonna set the scene for you. Doug Collins calls me in early. I watch film with Doug. We go over. It's a great film session. I think I'm bonding with my coach. So
Right.
after I said, hey, coach, man, did you ever play basketball before, like in high school, like in college or something? And he
Wow.
looked at me, and Doug Collins was like, Brendan, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, were you like, did you play like a D2 school? I had no idea. He was like, Brendan, I was the number one pick. I was like, the number one pick where? The NBA draft. I played with the doctor. I'm Doctor Who? Dr. J. I was like, nah. He said, Brendan, are you serious? Like, now he starts getting mad. He starts getting mad. I'm like, I had no idea he played on that USA team that like lost to Russia.
Yep.
I didn't know. I didn't
Yep.
know Doug was cold in college. Like,
No
he was like,
doubt.
Brendan, are you? I was like, Coach, when did you get drafted? He's like, 1979, big fella. I was number one. I said, no, he said 1977. I've never, because I was like, well, Coach,
Yeah.
I was born in 79. So, nah, I ain't never seen you play. I just thought that you grinded your way to the top in the coaching world. And,
The way he the way he was
and
as a
then,
coach he was 10 times that way as a player. He was
listen,
a
dog,
firebrand, man.
I know because he was like, Brendan, are you being serious? I was like, yeah, I've never seen you play ball. I had no idea you ever played basketball at all. And then he just stopped and looked at me and said, son, get the hell out of my office. he kicked me out of his office, dog. I had no idea Doug Collins ever played basketball.
You just did another great Doug Collins. The way you said, "Get out of my office."
That
That was
that's
Doug
that
Collins.
that is just how he said, son, get the hell out of my office. Like dog, like dog. I was like, I thought we were about to bond.
Yeah,
I'm lucky I played the next 5 games.
no doubt. All right, so I want to get to one more subject because it's the hot topic right now in the league, which is tanking. The Utah Jazz just got fined $500,000. The Indiana Pacers got fined $100,000. It was essentially for um, sitting starters for the entire fourth quarter of games. Kind of mixed results for the Utah Jazz. The won one, lost one. Last I checked, and so I'm just
Then,
wondering from your
then the Utah Jazz like, all right, fine. We won one loss, and we're gonna make sure we lose the next one. Jaren Jackson, you out for the season.
yeah, exactly. We're getting surgery, which brings me to my point. I'll start here. My introduction to the NBA, covering the NBA, was watching Don Nelson tank the 92-93 team in order to get Sean Bradley. He wanted Sean Bradley. He wound up with Chris Webber because
Wow.
the front office had to talk him into accepting Chris Webber. But he wanted Sean Bradley. That's the guy that was his target. And he didn't start out the season going that way, but Chris Mullin got hurt. I think Billy Owens got hurt. And so he decided, I'm going to go the other direction. The heat was a little bit on him because the small ball was exciting and entertaining, but never got you past more than maybe a first round upset. Never any chance of playing for a title at that time. And so there was a little pressure on him to actually go and get a legit big man. And Sean Bradley was the guy that he wanted. I watched him sit, literally Tim Hardaway against the Clippers in the fourth quarter after he had 27 through the first three. And afterwards say, well, he had a little bit of a knee issue. So we sat him down because you couldn't use the word tanking. You could not, you were not allowed to even suggest that you were doing anything other than trying to win every game. Problem was that Tim didn't know which knee was supposed to be hurt when we went to talk to him in the locker room afterwards. So I watched that. That was my introduction. That was the first year that I covered the NBA. And ever since then, I've been conscious of all the ways in which coaches and teams can manipulate the game so that you can even play your starters. But if you play certain lineups or you approach the game a certain way, you can improve your chances of not winning that game. So I've been watching tanking in various forms for decades. So it's really hard for me to get hot and bothered over the Utah Jazz saying, you know what? We want to get AJ DeBonsa. Like, we want that kid who's been playing just, a few miles away. We want to add him to the equation of Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen and Ace Bailey, and then we're going to be ready to go. But that we're taking a shot at it now. I don't have a problem with it because I've been watching it in the NBA my entire life.
It's different.
But everybody's getting all hot and bothered because they're being obvious about it. I'm like,
it's different.
It's different?
Yep.
Why is it different?
Times have changed. First and foremost, when you were talking about Tim Hardaway situation, was there a 24-hour news cycle?
No.
Was anybody covering Tim Hardaway? Did anybody really care about this outside of people in the Bay?
No.
So now, fast forward.
Even people in the Bay, I'm not sure. We're really all that worked up about it.
So now you have all these. So now you have. There was a certain segment of fan base back then that didn't know or didn't care. A lot of people on the East Coast probably didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? They didn't read the local paper. They didn't read your 100%. Paper. They knew about sports by reading the newspaper. 100%. Now the game has changed. You got all these shows that are on, whether it's on ESPN, Fox Sports Network, YouTube channels. You got all these different people talking about it. So the average fan is way more educated. The second thing, gambling is way higher. Gambling is way higher, and the gambling money matters. So now you got these people say, hold on. I'm betting these lines in Utah they messing the money up. In any business, what you can't mess up is the money. You can't have guys gamble like gambling is a major part of what the NBA is.
Yeah.
And what you can't have is rubbing it in these people's faces that we are actively trying to lose. And when you're the Utah Jazz and you're up 17 and Lauri Markkanen and Yusuf Nurkic and Jaren Jackson don't get back in the game in the fourth quarter, that is turning your nose. You are thumbing your nose up or putting up the middle finger to the fans and the people that are gambling, saying we don't even care if you know what we're doing. And that's what the NBA can't have. There's so many more eyeballs on it from when you were covering it with the Golden State Warriors that now that you can't. If you're going to tank, you got to massage the situation. If you don't want to win said game, you got to sit Jaren Jackson Jr. out. You can't have him play 3 quarters, have 26 points, and don't get in the fourth quarter. No, sir. The game is different. More information, more eyeballs. Everything's changed now.
That's right. There's more information. And I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. This is all about the gambling partnerships that the NBA has. The problem that I have is at that time, back when Tim Hardaway, when Nelly did what he did with Tim Hardaway, you know what else was a word that you didn't talk about when it came to the NBA? You talked about gambling. You didn't talk about betting on games. Those two were two separate things. So this idea that now we're tearing at the integrity of the game because the Utah Jazz are purposely trying to improve their draft position is laughable to me, because you've been tearing at the integrity. You took a huge left turn with the integrity of the game when you decided to accept the gambling money. And now we have prop bets that people can literally bet on while they're sitting in the stands watching a game. And you know what? When the player doesn't deliver on that prop bet, they might hear something from that fan. Like, you've changed the whole dynamic of the league because why? Because you wanted that gambling money. Yeah. And so my pushback on the idea that you can't do that because of gambling, I'm thinking, hey, gamblers, look at the reality. Look at where the Utah Jazz are. Look at that AJ DeBonsa is right there. Like that the owner of the Utah Jazz is providing the NIL money for BYU, so that becomes one of the biggest collegiate programs in the country. It's no accident that DeBonsa went there. So put together all the information that you have and go, you know what? Utah Jazz are a bad bet for me right now. I don't know what they're going to do, but they might not hold the line in terms of trying to win every game. I should stay away from that bet like you would if you know about a guy who's injured, who's got a nagging injury or a change of lineup.
Okay, now what you just said makes perfect sense. But if you're the NBA, do you want gamblers staying away from whole teams, whole games. Okay, can't bet any Utah Jazz games. Oh, can't bet any Pacer games. Oh, can't bet any Sacramento Kings games. Nah. Now, once again, I see what you're saying, but the NBA has to keep the illusion. See, what you're talking about is the illusion that there was no collusion. Oh, I'm up here rhyming. That sounds like a Baptist preacher. The illusion of no collusion. Pass the collective plate around for the building fund. The building never gets built, by the way. So my thing is this: you're messing with the illusion right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, imagine going to Vegas and a magician was showing you the magic trick. Yeah, listen, no one wants to go see the magician if he shows you how he pulled the rabbit out of the hat. Yeah. You got to think he made a magic trick happen. You cannot, right now, what the Utah Jazz and some of these teams are doing, they are messing with the illusion.
You're right.
that there has never, ever been this collusion to get draft picks and things of that nature. And now there's so many more eyeballs on you, and there's so many people talking about it. You have to go about it a different way. You cannot have a player have 26 points heading into a fourth quarter and not get in the game. You can't have it. In a game a game where the other team makes it close and he still that doesn't happen. You can't do that. Can't do it.
And that's exactly literally what I saw. Not 26 points. Tim Hardaway had 27 points. And I saw him and the Warriors were winning against the Clippers, a team that was much higher in the standings, a better team than them at that point. And Tim Hardaway did not sniff the court in the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing. And I think this was in April. It was toward the end of the year. And so I saw it. And this is the challenge that anybody in the media has, is that we're attracted. I was attracted. I think I can speak for most people in my business. We're attracted to covering the NBA because we love the game. We love what the NBA is in terms of the culture, like the whole deal. Like it's just, I grew up a soccer player. I played in college, but basketball was always, I can't even say it was my second love. It was like 1 and 1A. I loved the game. If I was a better basketball player, that's the direction I would have gone. And I see a lot of similarities between the two sports in the way that they're played and in some degree their cultures. But the bottom line is I covered the NBA because I love the game and I love the league. And then you learn like the business of the league. And I would dare say that players probably go through this too. You go there and you want to be an NBA player, and then you find out just how heavy the politics and the business and all of those things are. And it can steal some of your enchantment with the league. But as a person in the media, at least it used to be, my job was not to maintain the illusion. My job was to tell you what's really going on. And so that's where it becomes a difficulty, where it's like, I know what the league wants to do. I know the dream scenario that they're selling and how that's key to their business, but it's not my business to be in cahoots on that front. And now that we have so much media that are partners with the NBA, right? Look, ESPN in large part, they're part of maintaining the illusion.
Well, they're not asking you to maintain the illusion. I don't think that David Stern is mad that ESPN and some of these podcasts are doing think pieces on what the NBA should do to stop tanking. They're telling the teams, dog, don't be so obvious. And basically, don't mess up the gambling money. If you don't want Jaren Jackson, if you want to, let's just say, for example, if you're the Utah Jazz and you want to lose said game, okay, Jaren Jackson doesn't play. You start a obviously younger, more inferior player in the lineup.
Right.
What you don't do is let him play and play great, and then you start doing that, because like all this stuff like people thought they all used to blame it on the players. This has always been a organizational thing. And so what they're saying is, hey, no one's telling Rick Bucher, we want you to lie. They're telling the teams, we need you to keep the illusion up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Jaren Jackson's not going to play the next 3 games because he has an ankle sprain.
Right.
Or Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to get a surgery. Whatever. You got to keep the illusion.
Right.
You got to keep the illusion up. And so they're not asking you to do anything different. That's why these teams are getting fined. Like, yeah, listen, what you're doing now is flagrant. Okay? Like, you guys are going into games where you're winning games and you're not playing your best players in the fourth quarter. And everybody is like, hey, because they can see it, it's more visible, and more importantly, you're messing up the money. You're messing up the gambling money.
Fair. I guess, and this may be me. This may have nothing to do with the bigger picture, but I would rather you not lie to me or ask me to believe a lie in terms of, hey, you know what? We really are trying to win the game. It's just it's too bad Jaren Jackson can't play this game. Like, they're going, hey, you know what? We're going to play Jaren Jackson. We're going to give you a little bit of entertainment, but ultimately the result, we want to have the lower number on the scoreboard when this is over because we have our eye on a different prize. And I appreciate that, as opposed to like Nelly having to lie and say, yeah, I pulled Tim because he was having a knee issue. Like, I guess it's just, I prefer, yeah, this is what we're doing because it's a little bit like the blaming players, like blaming James Harden for leading the league in free throws like 6 years in a row. I'm not going to blame James Harden. He figured out how to exploit the system. I'm going to blame the league and the officiating and say, okay, like, don't call that. Don't give him that call. But I'm not going to blame the player. And so I'm not going to blame the team for taking the measures that they have to take in order to get the draft pick that they want to get.
Rick, you're an NBA truther. That's the problem. You're a truther. It's through and through. Now, listen, what the NBA right now is saying basically is, listen, tanking has gone on for a long time. And what you guys are doing now is you are showing the ugly truth. What I need you to do is sell the beautiful lie. You're selling you know what I'm saying? You're telling the ugly truth right now. Yeah. I need you to keep selling the beautiful lie. The beautiful lie is, hey, you know, this guy doesn't play this game. The ugly truth is when you walk out there and have players that are balling, having 20 plus that don't get in games in the fourth quarter. We know, like, a 10-year-old can see what that is. Mm-hmm. That's where we at.
Yeah. Understood. I wish that, like, I saw a lot of media people talking about how you know what, this has gone too far. And I get what you're saying in terms of it's gone too far as what the NBA is trying to present, but trying to suggest that this hasn't been part of the fabric and has to be. Like, so here's the other part. Well, we have to get tanking. We have to eliminate tanking from the league. That's never going to happen because the owners set the rules for the NBA. And the owners never want to eliminate the possibility that if I overpay a guy and he gets injured, or I make a mistake, or just I need to recycle my team, I need to have the option of not having a good year in order to assure that I'm going to have a high draft pick, particularly if I'm in a market like Utah or Charlotte or wherever it is, because that's the only way I'm going to get a star player. Is if I get him through the draft. I'm not going to be able to get him as a free agent. I either have to trade and overpay like I did for Jaren Jackson, or I need to have a high draft position. So could they eliminate tanking? If they wanted to, they could, because the EuroLeague doesn't have a draft, right? And they have no tanking. Teams don't purposely lose games in the EuroLeague. They can't afford it because they need their fans to believe that, and rightly so, that they're trying to win every single game and trying to move up, because otherwise the other part is they get kicked out of the EuroLeague. Like, you're not good enough, we're going to go get somebody else. Like if you had relegation, there's plenty of things. Bottom line is there are plenty of things they could put in place in order to eliminate tanking. But they will never do that. And the idea that people in my business are now coming up with all of these remedies, I'm like, you're missing the point. The way the NBA and basketball is structured, one player can make all the difference in your team. And as long as that's the case, and as long as there are markets that the only way they can get that player is through the draft, you're going to have teams that are angling to lose more than they're going to win. That's just the reality of life in the NBA. And can we just accept it for what it is as opposed to trying to pretend that it doesn't exist or that it shouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And then also you also have to look at how some of these trades are structured. Part of the reason why Utah is doing what they're doing, their pick is top 8 protected. If you don't know what that means, if Utah's pick lands in the top 8,
they get to use it.
They get to use it. If it lands outside the top 8, it goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder probably called NBA tips on Utah after seeing that Jaren Jackson game. Hey, anonymous tip. They tanking. They're tanking out there. They're tanking out there.
With our money.
They're like, who is this? Sam? Nobody. Like that's. I don't know what happened. Allegedly, it might have went like that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, you got rules like top 8 protected pick, top 5 protected pick. As long as you have stuff like that, teams are going to actively try to get their picks. Like, I understand that winning games in a season where I don't have a chance to win a championship hurts my franchise. It's simple math equation.
Yep. Agreed. All right. We've covered it. We've covered enough anyway, going into All-Star weekend. Are you actually going to watch the game?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna try and watch it. This will be the first time I've actually tried to watch it in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
because I normally turn it on, and within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I can't watch this. Here's how bad it's been. I know a guy I won't say the player's name, but this is a Hall of Fame player that could have covered the All-Star game, and he was like, nah, I'd rather go on assignment and go cover a college basketball game instead. He said, I would rather watch guys in a college basketball environment play hard than watch what the All-Star game has turned into the last 5 to 6 years.
Yep. I totally understand that. I'm not mad at it. So, all right. Well, we will, at some point we will compare notes. I will watch it as well.
The illusion of collusion.
All right. That's Reverend Haywood.
Yes.
This is the truther, Ric Bucher, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Pass the collection plate around. Wow, wow, wow.